It's Costaki, Economopoulos, one of my favorite comedians, a guy who's been knocking it out of the park all season with his great football stuff. Costaki is also a huge NFL fan. He is a Falcon fan.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, the Atlanta Falcons organization. And Costaki hooked up with Willie yesterday in L.A. Did you have fun out there in Radio Row?
It's so fun. It's ridiculously fun. Najee Harris is going to be a rock star. This guy's so likable. The rookie in Pittsburgh and hanging with Willie. And I got to say, the Westwood One people have been crazy great. They gave us this lineup of people we talked to yesterday. We talked to where do I have it somewhere? Steve Mariucci was so charming and funny and interesting, and Thomas Dimitroff, who ran the Falcons for 12 years. Laser sharp. Austin Ekeler, Lee Steinberg, who's the super agent. He's got the record for the most number one overall picks. He was the one that signed the big Mahomes deal, the biggest sports deal in the history of the universe, if I'm not mistaken. It was great. We talked to Gene Steratore, who's one of the referee guys that does he's on the network, and they go to him and ask him about the play and stuff.
I love that.
Funny. I've got a bit of history with him. A couple of years ago, I had a big birthday, and my wife put together a digital roast for me, and it was mostly my buddies, comics, busting my balls or whatever. And she did a couple of cameos, and one of them was Gene Steratore, and the cameo is hilarious. He's cold reading jokes that a friend of mine sent him, and a couple of he'll read them and then go, that's a good one, So we talked to him a little bit about that, and actually I asked him, because he was talking about what it is to be a ref. He said, when you're a ref, anything that happens in the referee universe, it's your fault. You get calls from your friends and family. And I said, we should have him come into the house and do some domestic disputes. My wife wants me to wear a CPAP machine. Why doesn't she just put earplugs in? And he said, I got to tell you, as an Italian with a big nose, I'm kind of side with your wife on this one. I do some snoring myself. I'm like, I'm not telling her that. You're not helping me.
So what is his position now?
He, among other things, he does the Westwood One stuff. He's on 800 stations on Sunday. He's going to be the referee available to talk about questionable plays on Super Sunday.
Wow. Is he going to be back today?
Steratore? I don't think so. He was a call-in. We had a couple of that were phoners.
Okay. I'd be curious at what he thinks about the overtime rules.
You know what? I did ask him a little bit about that, and we also asked him the worst rule in football, which has been an ongoing debate with my friends. I did not tamper here. I just let him answer, and he had the same answer I did. What do you guys think? What's the worst rule in football?
Pass interference?
That's Josh's, probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you know how Josh feels about pass interference, Costaki. Tell him.
Well, of course I tackled the guy. He was about to catch the ball.
Yeah, that's right.
Beat him to the punch.
You're trying to stop him, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the worst rule in football?
The worst rule in football, he is correct, and I'm correct. It is fumbling out of the opponent's end zone and losing the ball. You're 1 inch from scoring, and suddenly you don't even have the ball anymore. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
Right?
I guess. I don't know. I never thought about the worst rule.
If you're about to score and you're reaching for the pylon, you don't get the pylon, but somehow it fumbles forward and goes through the end zone.
Yes.
Now you don't have the ball. It's their ball. That's crazy.
Well,
why would it be their ball? Why would it be your ball?
You've just fumbled.
Because they never got possession of the fumble.
It's not that they gained possession afterwards.
Oh, nobody got possession of the ball. I see what you're saying.
Costaki, who was the funniest guy you talked to yesterday besides Willie?
Willie was, I have to say, as a side note, Willie's great. He's wise beyond his years. He's got some broadcast chops, and he's willing to do whatever.
You don't have to kiss up to the boss. The Tom.
He's
already have the gig there.
I don't know if Willie's ever told you, Costaki, but the boys, particularly Sam and Willie, would get up at 4 a.m. and come into work with me every day.
Yeah, I remember.
So they grew up in this building, surrounded by the kind of clowns that we've had in here. So apparently some of it rubbed off. Yeah, Willie's a sweet kid. He's a good guy.
Well, it's great. They have these big banners for the different Super Bowls, and I was reminiscing of Super Bowl 25. I was in college in Tampa, and the game was there. We didn't have any money, but we went and drank in the parking lot.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and you could hear the national anthem when we saw the jets fly over, and we're just like, tipping natural lights or whatever in the parking lot.
Awesome.
And I go, where were you, Willie? And he goes, what year was that? It was the 90 season. The Super Bowl was in 91. He goes, oh, I was born 2 years later.
And he was, we talked to him earlier, and he was sipping a, what is the word, THC infused seltzer, I guess it was.
Very high seltzer is what they called it.
Yeah, from Pabst.
He seems to be enjoying himself.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
He's a filthy druggie. Yeah.
Ironic that it's not a Bud.
Yeah, it sure is.
Oh, I get it.
Boy, that's a mild comedy.
Yeah. Tastes like bong water. Costaki, I've got some audio here of Austin Ekeler. Do you want to set this up for us?
Absolutely. I'm not sure which clip we got, but Austin was, I have to say, broadly, some of these, the takeaway from talking to all these big shots yesterday, they're really sharp people. Even some of the super jocks, you could see them being CEOs. Najee Harris and Austin Ekeler especially were just really sharp, interesting guys. We asked Austin a zillion things. He's kind of the face of fantasy amongst the NFL players. I'm not sure which clip we have, but
okay, here we go.
Hey, this is Willie G with the Bob and Tom Show. We're here with Austin Ekeler. Austin, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
I got a question for you. You're an undrafted free agent.
Yes, indeed.
And so you're the perfect person to ask something that I've always wondered as a casual fan. Why do some of the hype guys who come into the league sort of fade away? And why are some of the lesser known guys, why do they rise so much? Is there something you can put your finger on? Is there a personality type? Is there work ethic? Is it system? Is it girl trouble?
Mindset.
It's all head stuff?
It's all in your mind. It's all in the mind, right? Because, the mind controls so much. But I'll start out with just your work ethic, right? In my situation, I was sixth string. No one expected me to make the team. I was like a camp body, kind of what they say.
Right.
So there was no expectations for me. So I had to prove everyone that I deserved to be here. I had to make it happen. And that's what's gotten me to the point where I had an opportunity. And that's what's also given me the opportunity to be in the NFL and what gives me opportunities today, because I continue to have that same mindset and apply it over and over because I want to see how far I can really take this.
Right.
And my mindset doesn't change. And that's why I'm really excited about our quarterback, Justin Herbert, that, stay consistent with their mindset and really love the game and the process are the guys that really continue to go and have those long careers and have a lot of success.
Right. What percentage of your interaction with fans is fantasy related?
Ooh, I would say 60%.
Is that high?
It's high.
Yeah.
Fantasy, oh my God. I love fantasy football. Not necessarily because of I love playing the game, but I love what it does for the community. It brings people that aren't even fans of the Chargers, right? But they're fans of other teams, but they know who I am.
That's part of the reason I know.
It's amazing. Right. It's amazing. I love that concept.
So I want to ask you kind of a silly question. My fantasy team name was Von Miller High Life. What is the best Austin Ekeler team name that you've heard a pun maybe? I thought of On Hands on Deckler. It's not that good.
Odd Hands on Deckler. Wow.
Oh, I like that.
That's not good. Not bad,
I don't know. Actually, I haven't asked the community. Mine's always been the Fighting Ecklers.
That's very cool.
That's mine. I don't know. That's the team name of all mine, the Fighting Ecklers.
Thanks for talking to us. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on, boys.
All right. Wow. Undrafted. Maybe the
undrafted, and he went to a small school. It's like Western Colorado or something.
So it's like the Kurt Warner story.
Well,
yeah, and if you see the picture of the guy, Willie and I tower over him. He's not a big guy, but he is one of the best running backs in the league. It's a great story.
Well, what about Tom Brady? Wasn't he drafted 6th round or something?
That's right.
Yeah, yes. So a lot of these guys do. And then the guys that everybody loves and talks about from college, they get in there thinking, I'm so great, I don't have to work as hard, maybe. I don't know.
Or you got a guy like Jeff Saturday. Didn't he leave, was it the Patriots after one day?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I actually had a chance to grab Ryan Leaf yesterday and chat with him for a sec. I've seen him in a couple of interviews recently, and he's totally won me over. He's got this weird sort of Zen piece about it all, and he's talking about recovery. And I actually asked him the question that you were knocking around. I said, what's your I had some kind words for him initially, and then I said, can I ask you a goofy question? What was your last Google search? And he actually pulled his phone open, and he goes, it was a CVS pharmacy, which I thought was a hilarious answer for a guy who at one point was breaking into homes to steal pills and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's going to a legit pharmacy. He's all straightened out.
I got to tell you real quick. I got into the car one day a couple years ago, and I didn't know who was being interviewed, and I thought this guy was just so great. He was talking about recovery, and I thought this guy's so smart, and it turned out to be Ryan Leaf.
He's really thoughtful guy, and I piled on the compliments because
good for him.
You know, I wrote some jokes about him, and obviously he's one of those big stories in the NFL. He's maybe the biggest bust of all time, but he's a real human and a thoughtful guy who's working hard to do the right thing in the world now. So,
Costaki, I'll be honest, it sounds like what you guys are doing out there, interviewing all these football players on Radio Row for the Super Bowl. It sounds like a real sausage fest, and I'm glad I'm not there.
A lot of testosterone.
It is definitely that.
Yeah.
Although
you try that question
talk
again.
To a couple of people about feminism yesterday, including Najee Harris has got some strong feelings about things, and also we talked to a female broadcaster about the challenges of getting to where she is and having sustained a 30-year career with ESPN.
Try not to say broad and then broadcaster. Try to
that's
get
right.
the whole word in.
You don't want to call her a gal, as a for instance, right, Tom?
Sure. Thanks, Costaki. I do love that question. We used it last year. What's the last thing you Googled? And they grabbed their phone. We were at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I asked one of the guys from the Netherlands, what's the last thing you Googled? And he looks at his phone, directions to Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Makes sense.
He's honest.
One of the guys yesterday said himself, I'm like, that happens.
Sure.
You gotta check it out, see what the buzz is.
Okay. Well, thanks, Costaki. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day today.
Thanks so much, guys.
Hey, man.
Bye.
Have fun.